The advisory group is a group of DOCs from 8 member clubs that range from small clubs with only 1 or 2 teams all the way up to large organisations with up to 30 teams and programmes. In addition to the 8 DOCs that we have there, we also have a representative from Mass Youth Soccer in Ian Mulliner, who's the technical director of Mass Youth Soccer, to provide us with some input on the new US guidelines and initiatives that are happening across the leagues. One of the major reasons we did this is we tried to look at an advisory group that could provide input on the league and what needs to happen, and it's basically by the clubs, for the clubs and with the clubs is a motto we came about with. The reason for using the directors of coaching was specifically because they have a better understanding of what's needed at the club level and what's happening on a day-to-day level with those clubs and our member organisations. So far we've had a couple of meetings. We've been discussing several elements of the league and what needs to change and what we could do to make a development. For example, one of those things was we talked about minimum roster sizes, registration process and how we could change that and make that more effective. We've also talked about rule changes that need to be made. For example, the new USSF initiatives and how we could help with that. Some of the other things we've looked at is club standards, how we could implement those and the process we use to make the league even stronger, again with our member organisations, and looking at those member organisations, seeing what we could do to help assist in their developments. The roles and responsibilities of the advisory group and the DOCs is we'll meet once a month and we'll talk about some of the major elements that affect us on a day-to-day basis in the league. The business side of the league is held by the commission and they look towards that in their commission meetings to decide how we go together as a business. In terms of the DOC group though, we're looking at what happens on the field and how we could affect that. Again, some of the elements that we've talked about is the club standards, how we would work with the referee association, the organisation there. Other things we've looked at is protocols for parents, players, coaches and administrators. We've also looked at some of the development ideas in how we could improve the clubs within Maple. For example, educational resources that we could attach ourselves to, whether it's Mass Youth Soccer, whether it's the Champions Coaches Clinic that's going to be held down at Mohegan Sun, or whether it's the Mass Youth Soccer Workshop that's going to be held in January. We've been looking at all those elements and saying, how could we use those to help our member clubs develop to the level they need to? The best thing about having the advisory group with us and their involvement in the league and their work with the commission is that we're really taking input from the member clubs and the organisations that we work with. Getting their input on what needs to happen on a day-to-day basis with clubs and our members has been invaluable. It's allowing us to move forward at a faster pace than ever before. It's allowing us to implement new changes and new developments quicker than we ever did before. And it's going to be one of the best things about this league as we move forwards, in so much as we have a ready-made communication pathway from our clubs to our commission to decide what needs to happen to help make this league the best Premier organisation in the region.